Story 1. When you spend enough time on it, everything becomes repetitive. People ask the same questions and the same videos keep playing in a loop. Story 2. Moderators are permanently banning users because they feel offended or due to a desire for power. There is no proper way to adjudicate these actions. Story 3. Personalities are indistinguishable. It feels like everyone here is actually one of maybe 10 people. Whoever among you 10 tries to win arguments with laughing expressions can go away. Story 4. Honestly, I want to make posts on my local transit commission subreddit, but I need 200 karma. I'm not online enough for this. Nobody is making spam or prank posts on the Toronto Transit Commission subreddit. Story 5. Servers keep malfunctioning and they continue changing things, so I receive notifications about the irrelevant achievements. Story 6. When someone is seeking advice, the responses from those who have actually experienced the same situation are often downvoted, while hypothetical answers from individuals who have never faced a similar situation are upvoted, leading to a cycle of misleading approval. Story 7. Subreddits with a bot that automatically bans you if it detects your participation in another subreddit, especially if it is unrelated. Story 8. When discussing an issue, you must agree with every part of one side. Otherwise, you are part of the other side. Story 9. Double standards and virtue signaling are prevalent. It is impossible to have a productive discussion when individuals play the victim and claim offense in an attempt to silence dissent. Story 10.1. Subreddits that require a certain amount of karma to post. Everyone has to start somewhere, right? Certain communities where you post a serious opinion, and then people mock you or make joke remarks. Moderators who disable comments. I dislike reading through a long post only to find out I can't respond. Story 11. There are too many rules and too much censorship. If a comment is inappropriate or offensive, it should naturally be downvoted. Story 12. The children who joke about serious subjects without contributing to the debate simply make light of the situation and believe it is entertaining. Story 13. When you accidentally scroll back to the top of the feed, you have to scroll endlessly to find your previous location. Story 14. Reddit users often find something negative or rude to say about nearly anything in the world. They can be some of the most chronically online individuals you will ever encounter. Story 15. Posts are being locked or closed for arbitrary or unexplained reasons. When everyone is enjoying a conversation with many comments, suddenly a post gets locked because it was already shared in the last month. Not everyone spends all day here. Even worse, comments get deleted for not including a flair that seems irrelevant. It's frustrating to deal with communities like that. Story 16. People downvote opinions they do not agree with, even if they are valid or part of a civilized and healthy debate. What remains is an echo chamber where everyone shares the same point of view. Additionally, politics infiltrates every single subreddit. Story 17. The fact that most of the communities share the same modifications and many posts are excessively inflated with bots to manipulate opinions. If you dare to step out of the accepted narrative, you are at minimum downvoted to oblivion. I have also been banned from communities I am not even a part of because I follow other communities they do not approve of. Story 18. I dislike the app. I often have to return to my feed to search, and half the time I click back, it just closes. I leave things open to read later, but it automatically refreshes, and I can never find them again. Additionally, the jokes and attitudes that feel artificial are frustrating, as are the fabricated stories on the large subreddits. Story 19. Politics. I keep trying to block and unsubscribe, but every subscription has it. I don't participate in the not safe for work subscriptions, but at this point I wouldn't be surprised to see something about the President of the United States or one of his associates there. Story 20. How careful you must be when you leave a comment. You need to choose your words and phrasing very carefully, without leaving any margin for error. A small mistake in real life may be overlooked while the conversation continues. However, online, some individuals will jump on your comment to twist your words and portray you as a villain. At the very least, they may point out a spelling error which they take pride in highlighting. Story 21. An accidental finger swipe returns me to the top of the homepage. making me forget where I was. Story 22. The rage baiters. There could be a moral compass in front of them, and they would try to claim north was south just for fun. Story 23. The rules can be frustrating. Even when I follow them, my posts are still removed because the moderators dislike them for some reason. It's a frustrating situation, especially since I do not use any foul language. Story 24. There is no return to top button at the bottom of long posts. Additionally, when viewing a single comment thread, there is no way to zoom out on the conversation for context without selecting See Full Discussion and completely losing your place. Story 25. People are often uninformed about my favorite topics. It's challenging to have a meaningful conversation because many participants are quite young. Story 26. Downvoting for trivial reasons can be frustrating. For example, when someone posts about a favorite song, food, or anything they enjoy, they might receive a downvote simply because others do not share their taste. It's important to let people enjoy what they love. Story 27. Wow, I didn't expect this to receive so many upvotes. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. Why are people like this? Story 28. How much Reddit hates itself. It's funny to see how many people criticize Redditors while being one themselves. Story 29. Moderators who have delusions of grandeur about their VIP high-paying jobs. Just kidding, moderators. You are my favorite. Keep up the good work and don't ban me again. You're the best. Best wishes. Story 30. People who constantly complain and express dissatisfaction about matters that others do not care about should grow up, take criticism, and engage in reality rather than living through social media platforms. Story 31. Echo chambers exist where people post content, and if you disagree, you are removed or your comment is deleted. It seems that anything somewhat controversial is off-limits for conversation. Story 32. Notifications can be slow. I have tried joining conversations in threads, and sometimes I do not receive notifications until the next day. Story 33. The fact is that most, if not all, major subreddits are echo chambers. Then you have moderators who allow this behavior, even when it goes against the subreddit rules. Additionally, there are moderators who ban users for pointing out violations of the rules and then tell them to grow up for reporting it because they support such behavior. In general, this platform is disappointing. Story 34. Every post devolves into unfunny sarcasm. Conversations that were once enlightened and constructive are now a thing of the past. Story 35. People are examining your profile for material to use against you over trivial matters. You might mention that you're not a cat person but prefer dogs, and before you know it, someone with too much time on their hands has read your entire profile and comment history, trying to use it as an insult because they disagree with your comments. Story 36. The recurring questions and random posts reflect insecurity and a need for validation. It's surprising to see how people can make substantial amounts of money yet don't know how to create a budget. It's all quite puzzling. Story 37. Bots asking why on AskReddit, users seeking karma, and basic responses that follow a genetic template dominate the conversation. This represents a significant portion of Reddit's content. Story 38. The feed primarily consists of content from subreddits you are not part of. Why give people the option to join subreddits to view the posts and then mostly display other content? Story 39. It seems to be a reflection of user behavior. I posted an answer to a biological question that anyone could have easily searched for, and I received over 6,700 upvotes. Interestingly, when I answered a question related to my profession before I retired, where I was considered an expert and provided factual information, it was downvoted significantly. People often prefer to hear what aligns with their comfort rather than the truth. Story 40. Many of the rules are arbitrary and are selectively enforced in a hypocritical manner. This issue is common in many forums and not just Reddit. Story 41. Stupid, illogical, random bans. How about a warning? A nudge of, hey, heads up, you should probably edit your comment to stay within the guidelines. It violates because of getting a month ban from Star Wars for mentioning the physical address of the United States executive branch. Something widely known but still factual in reference to the post. Factual as in we have governmental documentation to substantiate what I said and implied. Full stop. No politics. No politics. About a series that's extremely political. In fact, the entire series is about various political moves. A film universe that takes literal symbology from political movements known to do evil. No politics. I'm sorry, moderator, who apparently missed the class on comparative media formats and their representation in human society in relation to policy implementation and adoption. I'm sorry a mailing address is somehow politically confusing for you. I just unsubscribed. I don't have time for some moderator's limited idea of what is and is not policy without having a firm grasp on what they are doing. I don't. Reddit needs to provide classes for certain moderators in how to approach issues more rationally, with common sense examples which should include diagrams and pictures. Moderators don't need to tell me their life is hard. I moderated boards during the Wild West years. I've already seen the issues. Take that excuse elsewhere. So yeah, unreasonable bans. Story 42. Americans often forget that not everyone on Reddit resides in the United States. Posts disappear randomly with no explanation for why they violated the rules. There are too many bots. Story 43. The ongoing political questions posted in this subreddit are accompanied by debates. People often write questions simply to judge others. For example, is it strange if a man or woman has never experienced this at this age? Mind your own life instead of judging others. Story 44. Fed news and people having the entitled expectation that they had a permanent job. That is what they call their jobs, permanent jobs. Story 45. Despite using night mode, clicking on an article in a post brings it up in blinding white light. There should be a way to display the content of the post in the same mode as the Reddit app. Story 46. Some people get upset about things that aren't really worth the anger, like asking who your favorite cartoon character is. Story 47. It feels like about 60% of the comments are from people who are frequently online and cannot resist replying endlessly. Story 48. The app keeps getting worse. I repeatedly see the same posts as I scroll, and each time I click on a post and then go back, that post is at the top of the page. Why can't they just leave it where it was? I don't want to keep scrolling back to make sure I don't miss anything. Honestly, the app is frustrating. I really miss Reddit is fun. Story 49. I don't see the purpose of badges or karma, and I don't understand why I should use vulgar language to get my post upvoted or noticed. I just want to find a relevant topic, possibly post, read posts, vote, and comment. Having a bot respond on Reddit and imply that I'm going to face consequences for violating a rule feels overly aggressive to me. Goodbye to that subreddit. Story 50. Almost every topic features a joke as the top comment, with numerous people adding their own variations. As a result, the entire thread is derailed before it even begins, rather than encouraging a meaningful conversation. Story 51. Lately, it's nothing but, what do you think of Trump doing this or that? I'm not American. I come here for discussions about topics other than United States politics, but it seems to be all that there is anymore. Story 52. When you edit a comment or post on mobile, it removes all formatting from the edit box. If you have used paragraphs, you must re-add them every time you want to correct a spelling mistake you find later. Story 53. The lack of respect and people's tendency to turn to negativity quickly is concerning. Mike Tyson is correct. Story 54. Some moderators will ban you from their community for participating in a community they disagree with. There are several automated moderation accounts you can block to prevent this, but you shouldn't have to worry about that. Story 55. Time-sensitive, important questions are being deleted for trivial reasons. For example, I forgot to mention my age and gender when asking if my pet needs emergency veterinary care. Story 56. People are repeating exactly what others write, thinking they are clever. If I read, "no" is a complete sentence one more time. Story 57. Using acronyms or initials without explaining what they represent is unhelpful. Please clarify your terms. Story 58. Once I shared my opinion on a Reddit post, I was called a self-obsessed jerk by a random person. Thankfully, the moderators quickly deleted that individual's reply. Story 59. Sarcasm. Sometimes it seems like every question or post is a race to see who can be the most insulting, shaming, or berating. It is never about actually answering the question, just who has the funniest response. Story 60. How people twist your words into something you never said is frustrating. It is even more annoying when multiple people do it and gang up on you. Story 61. Chronically online negative individuals. I've often felt excited to visit a community to read and discuss something I truly enjoyed, only to be met with a wave of negativity and hatred. Story 62. When someone asks a question and wants a real answer, it is often met with jokes, memes, lies, or sometimes downright rude responses. I also find it ridiculous that someone would ask anything on Reddit when they can always Google it first. If you don't find what you need there and come to Reddit, well, good luck and prepare for either laughter or frustration. Story 63. When you search for a question on Google and include Reddit in your search, you might find a post with many comments suggesting it may contain the answer you're looking for. However, when you check, you may find that the most upvoted and agreed upon comment has been deleted, leaving you unable to see the answer it provided. Story 64. If you criticize anything liberal, you get attacked and downvoted into oblivion. I am liberal myself and voted for Kamala Harris, but apparently when I criticize the Democrats for being weak, that's enough for me to fail the purity test. Go look at my post history. Story 65. The ability of moderators of subreddits to ban someone for life is excessive. Such a drastic decision should be taken away from them and referred to the principal Reddit authorities for resolution. I have been banned for life in 3 subreddits, one of which was about nihilism. It seems the nihilistic moderators still consider that some things matter. Story 66. I have seen groups that exclude people based on skin color, age, gender, and other factors, and that is simply pure racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination. Story 67. When people treat the downvote button as a dislike button, it's meant to be used when someone is being actively problematic, not simply because others dislike an opinion. When I first started using Reddit, I thought people truly saw me as a bad person. However, I moved past that after a while once I regained my karma. Story 68. If I add a line by hitting enter, it does not apply the line when it posts. I have to add 2 lines to create a new one, but it adds them as 2 separate lines, so there is no way to get just one new line. I cannot create a proper bulleted list. Story 69. 5 years ago, there were thousands of answers related to this comment, but you have no idea what it was about. Story 70. I just received my first 3-day ban in over 9 years for commenting on Muskie and his policies. The situation in Yankistan is out of control. Story 71. Honest and true answers are downvoted in favor of easy-to-digest, emotionally comforting answers that reinforce confirmation bias. Story 72. People here are really uninformed. It's surprising how many unique ways this manifests. I recognize that I'm also contributing to this issue by spending my time downvoting every 3rd post instead of unsubscribing or simply not using the app. Story 73. I muted recommendations from sports to music subscriptions. It seems like I'm being suggested unusual genres such as metal or rap. I do not want any music or sports content in my feed, which includes wrestling or smaller subscriptions. No means no. Story 74. Not going to lie, the echo chambers are quite cringe. I have had to mute several subreddits due to the collective mentality. Story 75. Many vocal Reddit users do not distinguish between conservative white evangelicals and other forms of Christianity. They represent a minority of Christians in the United States, admittedly a loud and influential group. However, they do not represent Christianity on a global scale. While I do not object to honest discourse about Christianity, I welcome it. I merely wish to represent it as one small sect with which I personally disagree. Story 76. The fact is that when you message someone, it goes to requests. Some might not even see those messages, and they will never reply. Story 77. The amount of posts from Trump and Musk indicates that there is more to the world than just what is happening in America. Additionally, not everyone is concerned about the United States. Story 78. You can downvote perfectly logical comments, and Reddit hides them because the majority has spoken. Story 79. It is very easy to get labeled if you do not align with certain political views, identify as transgender, or have a mental health condition. Story 80. The need to involve politics in every subreddit is unnecessary. It's fine to have an opinion, but you don't need to post about politics on every post you see. Story 81. Veiled political posts in forums that are unrelated and should be lighthearted. Bans for dissenting opinions when egregious rule-breaking is allowed because it aligns with the message. Story 82. If I am in the middle of reading a post and receive a phone call, a text, or even bump my phone, that post disappears completely. I can still return to Reddit, but I was not finished reading that post, and now it is gone. Story 83. I am receiving suggestions for posts that are irrelevant to me. Even when I click to show fewer of these posts, they continue to appear. Story 84. Groupthink. I believe the upvote system leads to people posting opinions they know will be rewarded, which causes one prevailing opinion to dominate a subreddit, to the point of being treated as self-evident. Any hobby subreddit tends to have standard answers about items to buy or methods to follow, which may not be the best solution in specific situations. I have started looking at older forums for advice because the responses here are often predictable and unhelpful. Story 85. People's inability to keep politics in the political subreddit is evident. This subreddit is a great example. Ask Politics exists so we do not ask them here. On the off chance a question is not political, someone in the comments will go out of their way to find a reason to mention political figures. Story 86. Echo chambers exist when people are afraid of being challenged in their views and would rather exclude others than confront certain truths. Story 87. Mods are usually unhelpful. I receive notifications saying I got 5 upvotes, but I can't turn them off. Whenever I look for help or even at posts less than 12 hours old, the top comments are deleted or removed by moderators. Story 88. Shadow bans. Reddit moderators not doing their job. Reddit moderators being biased or inconsistent. All the political questions meant to annoy everyone, and endless inappropriate questions. Additionally, there is notable hypocrisy. Long, emotional story comments that sound overly detailed to be real, yet cannot be verified. Story 89. I want accurate, unbiased information, but it's impossible to find here. Often, community members will ban you for sharing thoughts or information that oppose or challenge theirs. That is not how informed opinions are developed. I identify as left-leaning, but I am genuinely fatigued by this left-leaning echo chamber. I just want the unbiased truth. Story 90. Hyperbolic polls. If you had to choose 3 Jeff Daniels movies to be trapped in a prison cell with for 1 year, while the rest of the world is being destroyed around you, which movies would you pick, excluding Speed? Story 91. All the time, there are posts criticizing Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I understand that some people have strong feelings against them, but it is quite frustrating, and I'm not even from the United States. Story 92. Why can't you collapse conversations? If I don't like one answer, why would I want to scroll past 10 more responses to that answer? Story 93. The amount of propaganda present is concerning. The majority of the top upvoted comments come from accounts whose entire purpose is to manipulate the discussion. This is significantly worse on non-niche subjects, with politics and news being the most heavily influenced. However, subreddits like r/pics and similar places are also prime targets for manipulation. Story 94. Every subreddit is a massive echo chamber. Discourse is dead on this site. Blatant karma farming posts, such as "people who kill puppies and kittens are bad and we shouldn't like them," receive over 5,000 upvotes, with many comments agreeing with the obvious. Story 95. Downvotes on questions like, what is your favorite color? What is the purpose of downvoting someone's answer? Story 96. Conservative and liberal perspectives often claim that the other side is incapable of critical thinking. Story 97. Many people come here to ask questions when the information can be found by using a search engine or exercising common sense. Story 98. The extremism. Every comment is so extreme that there is no room for nuance or complexity in people's motivations or relationships. Story 99. The same questions are asked every day or week in this community. Reposts in general are annoying. Pun chains and silly one-liners are also frustrating. Everyone thinks they are a comedian. Story 100. Mods who abuse their position. I was permanently banned, now repealed, from Reddit's cats community because a moderator misunderstood my comment. Always remember what Uncle Ben said. Story 101. It's confusing because I perceive most comments to be made by intelligent people, yet they can be really closed-minded. They do not seem like they should be, but they are. Story 102. I'm not sure if it's because I have gotten older or if the website is becoming less intelligent or both, but I have noticed that the reading comprehension on this website has decreased significantly. There are numerous instances of phrases like, "You like waffles? Then you probably dislike pancakes." It's not always that obvious, but it's pervasive. Story 103. How hard it is to have a civil conversation. It's not as bad as Twitter or Instagram, that's for sure, but more people are ready to jump on you because they read what they wanted to read instead of what you wrote. It doesn't even have to be a comment on politics or religion or anything important. You could say, "I didn't like this character because the entire show would be the same without them," in a show-dedicated subreddit. And there will be someone ready to interpret it as, "I hate this entire show and everything it stands for." Story 104. How the most seemingly innocuous or positive posts inevitably attract unnecessarily depressing comments. Post. Hey Reddit, what is your favorite cookie? Me. I like cookies. This could be a nice read. Top post. My grandma's chocolate chip cookies. Of course, I will never have those again. She died, you see. She made so many of those cookies because she knew they made me happy. She ate so many that she gave herself type 2 diabetes. She had to get both feet amputated, and when she was hospitalized with dementia, she kept forgetting that she had her feet amputated, waking up screaming. We had to position chairs around her bed and sit on our feet. We tried to convince her that no one has feet, that feet were never a thing, that she dreamed it. Anyway, I like chocolate chip. Me. Story 105. All the questions that can easily be answered if people took the initiative to search online. The absence of common sense and deductive reasoning skills among individuals. Story 106. The mobile app has become worse over the last few years. They deleted many options. I can't even change my feed to see popular, rising, or new content. I think I have to change that in the settings now. Remember when they had various categories to view popular posts? They removed those completely for some reason. In general, I find the feeds boring and annoying now. I can't fully articulate what happened, but I feel like I keep seeing the same few popular subreddits on my personal feed and on the all subreddit feed. I follow over 100 subreddits and rarely see posts from any of them. Story 107. Every time someone says, "Beat me to it," there is a long thread of responses that can be quite annoying. Story 108. Downvotes occur because someone disagrees. Opinions vary among individuals. Even if someone's opinion is different from mine, I believe they should not be dismissed. People are entitled to their own opinions. Story 109. I don't want to download the app and just read meaningless content through my browser, but it malfunctions and resets. Story 110. People here often focus on negative aspects in every situation. Whenever someone posts about their achievements, there will be a comment criticizing them for some minor reason. Story 111. People cannot be critical of something without a series of qualifiers. For example, someone cannot simply say they don't like Taylor Swift. They have to express that she is extremely talented, generous, intelligent, and humble, but her most recent album was slightly less impressive than I expected. You can't just say you didn't like the album. You must convey that, despite your criticism, you are still a devoted fan of whatever it is you are reviewing. People are hesitant to share honest opinions on online platforms because of overly passionate fans. Story 112. It's usually the same 15 to 20 recycled questions. especially on the larger online forums. Yet somehow I can't post something original. An original post like this is a rarity nowadays. Story 113. The politics that creep into normal subreddits. I want to look at memes, not this political figure is bad. Story 114. It recommends and inserts subtitles that have been politically influenced because I follow another similar subtitle based on core pre-influence concepts, which most likely has also been politically influenced. Story 115. How easily the collective mindset is manipulated by a few individuals who get an early advantage on a story and set the tone with their reports, regardless of the truth. The gullibility of the average Reddit user. This is common. I've seen stories all over the place. No, you didn't. You saw several variations of the same, often fabricated, story that gets reposted and reworked regularly to create the illusion that it is a common occurrence. Story 116. The same recycled jokes, comments, or witticisms that might have been funny the first time or in the first context. Phrases like, X doesn't want you to know this one trick are common. Additionally, comments that simply say this are often followed by repeating the same idea with slightly different wording. Let's see how many humorous people respond with this. Story 117. Posts that ask, what would you do if you saw someone getting murdered? I would step up and help. Anyone else? Receive comments like, yes, me too. I believe murder is wrong, and I would try to stop it or at least call the police. It's just a situation where everyone is congratulating each other on their brave stance against murder and proclaiming how courageous they would be. Not like some others if they ever witnessed a murder. Story 118. Since going public, most of the entertaining subreddits I liked started getting targeted. I haven't been able to find a video where a wheelbarrow falls on someone from 10 stories up in a while. Story 119. I find it annoying that people on the internet constantly feel the need to argue with each other for no reason at all. It is frustrating how deeply some individuals feel compelled to criticize others over the smallest issues. Story 120. There is no value in presenting hard truths. People would rather support something they know is unrealistic or based on flimsy logic than consider a more realistic statement because it isn't what they wanted to be true. It feels like a waste of time trying to be the voice of reason in some of the forums I've been on. I'll just be downvoted to oblivion only to be proven right later on. Additionally, I don't think it is fair to be banned from forums you've never participated in because of something you posted on a different forum. Shouldn't I be aware of a forum's rules before being banned for violating them? Even if I was aware, why should a forum's rules apply to others? I made a joke in a conspiracy-themed forum and was banned from around 50 different forums I've never heard of. Lastly, it annoys me when I see a post with 0 upvotes but over 100 comments. That is essentially just a pile-on against the original poster. Story 121. There is a particular style of sarcastic speech that permeates the top-voted comments on anything politically charged. It is not enough to simply state that something is wrong without framing it in a sarcastic remark. I generally agree with the sentiment, but I dislike how consistently it is expressed. Story 122. I noticed no comments regarding third-party applications being removed. The user interface is very poor with the default application. Additionally, there is excessive moderation. For those who insist on the echo chamber, there are sections here where people share similar opinions. However, they are only accessible to certain users, and you may not fit their criteria. Please stop complaining about being a moderate. Story 123. People treat their opinions as facts. Some individuals act as if their opinion is far superior to anyone else's, and if you disagree with them, you are considered wrong. I see this every day on Reddit. Story 124. Someone asks for something, and when you respond factually and directly, with no judgment or opinion, in an effort to be as helpful as possible, you receive negative feedback regardless. Story 125. Too much politics. Like, calm down. I'm just trying to relax. It's also very one-sided because people choose the popular opinion instead of expressing their true thoughts for fear of being downvoted. Story 126. The fact that I cannot stop using it when I am bored at work. I wish I could channel that boredom into something else, but so far I have been unable to make myself. Story 127. Echo Chamber. Many people have opinions but lack knowledge, and when knowledge is presented, it is often argued against based on personal emotions. Logic takes a back seat to the emotions of the demographics. Story 128. New Reddit is not as good. I prefer old Reddit, but it lacks a dark theme, so I get overwhelmed when I am scrolling at 4 a.m. Story 129. When someone asks a legitimate question or makes a point that reminds another person of a movie or television quote, and then they add the next line, followed by another, and so on, it drives me extremely frustrated. Story 130. Fake posts on AITA and TOEFL can often be identified by the use of adjective-noun names and the absence of original poster comments. Story 131. Opinions are valuable, but many are uninformed and lack research. Individuals often rely on their personal preferences, which can differ from others, to dismiss entire concepts. Story 132. Any posts about what happens in the G-Strip outside of submissions for Palestine are almost always taken down by moderators. Story 133. All the political shills are currently prevalent in various investing communities, expressing enthusiasm for the recent stock market downturn. It is evident that you are not a legitimate investor. It is clear you were sent here to disrupt discussions. Story 134. Whenever Trump is elected president, this place becomes nearly intolerable. It happened, we are upset. Let's enhance other parts of our lives, such as going to the gym, picking up a hobby, or volunteering, and hope his actions do not affect us too much. Story 135. The intolerance of the liberal-minded moderators leads them to delete comments and ban individuals with whom they disagree very quickly. They often equate a difference of opinion with hate speech to shut down conversations. Story 136. It doesn't contribute to the conversation, and I feel like it is visual pollution. Seeing it and mentally wasting time reading it is frustrating. Just upvote and move along. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.